Hello everyone. So today we will learn about all the schedules of the constitution. As you all know, dear students, that schedules are very important part of our Indian polity subject for UPSC, and Indian polity and the constitution is really a very important part when it comes to prelims and mains also. So we are going to learn today about all the 12 schedules which are there in the constitution and what it talks about. So the first schedule is about the states, how many states are there in our country, and about the union territories. As you all know, that states are having the separate regional government called state government, and union territories are administered by the central government. The second schedule talks about there are total 5 parts into that. Okay, clear? 5 parts into this second schedule. So the first part A of the second schedule, talks about the provisions of the president and the governor. We all know that there is one president in the country and there are different governors of each state, right? And part B has been repealed, that has been removed out, okay, from the second schedule. Part C talks about provisions as to the speaker. We all know every council, or we can say that house of the people, Lok Sabha, has the speaker. So it talks about the Lok Sabha speaker and the deputy speaker of the Lok Sabha. And when it comes to Rajya Sabha, which is also called Council of State, it talks about the chairman and the deputy chairman of that. We all know the vice president himself or herself is the chairman of the Council of State, which is also called Rajya Sabha, and it also talks about the deputy chairman. Similarly, in state, when it comes to the state legislative assembly, it talks about the speaker of the state legislative assembly and the deputy speaker of the state legislative assembly. And when it comes to the council called state, council, okay, legislative council of a state, there it talks about the chairman and deputy, chairman of the state legislative council. Then part D talks about, so that is all in part C, and now part D talks about the provisions of the judges who are there in Supreme Court and High Court. So it talks about the judges of the High Court and Supreme Court, please remember. Then part E of the Constitution, it talks about the provisions to the Controller and the Auditor General of India, which is also called CAG, right? So it talks about what are the provisions for that. Then comes the third schedule of our constitution. It talks about the various forms of oaths and affirmations. Like before getting elected into various constitutional posts, one has to take certain oaths and affirmations. So it talks about that. Then fourth schedule of the constitution talks about the Council of States. I mean, it talks about Rajya Sabha, specifically Council of States. Then fifth schedule of the constitution talks about administration and control of scheduled areas and scheduled tribes. There are some scheduled areas where tribal population is living, and where a kind of people who are quite marginalized, such type of communities are living, socially marginalized, socially backward community. So for that there is a separate provision for administration, and we all know that president himself directly administers in these areas. So it is again divided into 4 parts. Remember, schedule 5th is divided into 4 parts as per its administration. The part A talks about general thing. Part B talks about the administration and control, okay, of scheduled areas and scheduled tribes. Then part C talks about the scheduled areas which are coming into that, and part D talks about the amendment of the schedule. If there are certain amendments has to be done, it will be done through this particular schedule. Then comes the 6th schedule of our constitution. The 6th schedule of the constitution is about the administration of some certain tribal areas. Remember, certain tribal areas. This include Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. These are the northeastern states of our country. Once again, it is Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. These are the states, okay, which are coming under the administration or of tribal areas, especially these 4 important: Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. Next comes is the 7th schedule. The 7th schedule to the constitution talks about the distribution and division of powers between various subjects. Like we have, there are basically 3 subjects. First subject is called subject number 1 or list number 1, which is also called union list. Second is called as state list, and third is called as concurrent list. So it talks about the division of powers into 3 different subjects. We all know that in union list 1, only the central government has authority to make law. and union list 2 only the state government has authority to make laws, and in concurrent list both state government and central government both can make laws respectively, right? Now let's talk about the 8th schedule. Remember, 8th schedule is very important schedule, and many times in UPSC examination it has been asked what 8th schedule is about. 8th schedule is about the languages which are recognized by the constitution. So as of now, there are total 22 languages which are recognized by the constitution, and originally it was only 5, but later on in the passage of time the constitution has recognized a total of 22 languages. So as of now there are total 22 languages which are recognized and registered, okay, as per the constitution. Then we talk about the 9th schedule. 9th schedule of the constitution talks about the validation of certain rules and regulations. Which rules and regulations are valid or invalid, it talks about that, because there are various acts, okay, which needs to be under the validation. Then 11th schedule talks about the powers, authority and responsibility of the panchayats. We all know Panchayati Raj system, that it was later on with a constitutional amendment, Panchayati Raj institutions were brought into play, and that is also known as a local governance of our country. So this talks about the powers, authority, what authority they have, responsibilities of panchayats. Then we talk about the last schedule, that is the 12th schedule of the constitution. It talks about the powers of local urban government. Local urban government means municipality, okay. Usually we all know that in village we have a gram panchayat, and similarly we have urban local body, which is called municipality. So the 12th schedule talks about the powers, authority and responsibilities of the municipalities. I hope you all have understood it. So dear candidates, remember all the 12th schedule of the constitution and what each schedule, okay, symbolizes and what are its jurisdiction. Please kindly remember it. I hope you're going to have nice time. Best of luck. Thank you.